Are you winning with your team? By the end of this video, you'll be able to effectively respond to that question. Welcome to Security Nuggets podcast. In this channel, we unpack and engage on security risk insights and perspectives to achieve security excellence. And I'm your host, Ashley, and it's always a pleasure to have you here. And without wasting any time, let's delve right into it. As a security leader, your ability to effectively lead your team and coordinate with them while they are undertaking their tasks is critical towards the attainment of organization security goals. It's therefore important for us to continuously keep monitoring and reviewing on our team's performance and effectiveness. Now, some of the elements that we can use to measure our team's performance and effectiveness. One, task effectiveness. This is the extent to which a team is able to successfully achieve its task-related objectives. Two, team member well-being. This is the mental and physical health, as well as the career growth and development for team members. Three, team viability. This is the likelihood that your team will continue to work. Four, team innovation. This is the extent to which the team develops and implements new and improved processes and procedures. It actually speaks on the team's adaptive capacity and its agility. Five, inter-team cooperation. This is the team's effectiveness to work together with other teams within the organization in order to deliver the end goal. Now, I want us to get a bit real here, okay? Because if you're listening or watching this video and you are in the security department, you will understand that management within this industry over the years have centered around the chain of command, all right? And if you have actually worked in the military or a state agency, you will understand this even better. Management within these institutes is very much centered within chain of command, all right? Now, this traditional style of management entails leaders using power and authority. And yeah, it may have worked in the past, but in these modern times, let's not kid each other, even for a minute. In these modern times, traditional style of management, it is not effective. It will not be effective, all right? This is because we are having upcoming generations in the industry. We are having young people joining the industry, and they have a very different mindset. I mean, have you worked with Gen Zs? Have you worked with Gen Zs? Can you see yourself managing a Gen Z using a traditional style management and making that a win-win for yourself and the team? Are you seeing that being a win-win? I absolutely don't see it being a win-win. So moving forward, we need to ask ourselves this question. How do we want to manage our teams? How do we want to lead our teams? All right. Whereas those traditional management styles may have worked in the past, they may not be effective in future. Security leaders in these modern times need to adopt a leadership-focused approach when they are managing their teams. That is the only way that it can be a win-win. So I want us to look at how we can actually be able to effectively lead our teams and also be able to harness assertiveness. One of the strategies is for us to have clear goals. As a security leader, it's very important for you to clearly define your goals as a security leader and the goals that you want your team to achieve. Without having that outlined clearly from the onset, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be leading your team blindly. If you are able to watch our most recent video where we were discussing on strategic alignment, then you will know what I'm talking about. In that video, I very much insist on aligning the goals of the security department or function with the overall goals of the organization, the vision goals. Because the work of the security department is supposed to help the organization achieve its visionary goals. Okay. Set SMART goals that are specific, that are measurable, that are achievable, that are relevant, and they are time-bound. It's very important for you to do that. And when you're doing this, the team needs to be part and parcel of this. They need to be part and parcel of this, and they need to understand why those goals are being put in place and how their input impacts on the attainment of those goals. The second strategy that's supposed to help us enhance on assertiveness in team leadership is communicating clearly. It's very important for us to be able to clearly communicate as security leaders when we are communicating to the teams that are working under us. Now, this means that whatever we are communicating, we should be able to do that with passion, with integrity, with confidence, with transparency, right? And we should avoid being very complicated about it. Like when you're communicating the vision of the department to the team and what you want the whole team to achieve in the process, do it with passion and do it in a very simplistic manner. You're not being very overly technical about it and using jargons. Be simple about it. The reason why I'm insisting on simplicity is because you don't want to confuse some of the team members. And you don't want them to view what you're communicating with them with that attitude of complexity. Like whatever you're communicating, the vision you have for the department is just so complicated and they just get too confused. I mean, just be simple about it. For me, as we're looking at these strategies, communication is one of the strategies that we can really, really leverage on, because in most times, it's not about what we communicate and say we want. It's how we do it. How do we do it? You know, from the language we are using, from the simplicity of the words that we are using, from the passion that we are demonstrating we have for the department and the vision we have for the department, from the confidence that we are communicating with, all right? Because how we say it matters as well. It's not just about saying what we want the team to achieve and why we want their team to achieve. How we say it makes a difference. That's how you pull them in to the vision. That's how you influence them so that they can get to understand where you're coming from. All right. If you're conversant with verbal cues, all right, you can leverage on such verbal cues. For instance, use a firm tone. Demonstrate positive body language. Maintain eye contact. This is because body language, it very much contributes to the message that you're conveying to your team. All right? And this makes me just let's expound on this and let's get real. Okay, we are getting real in this video because some of the security leaders, you have high expectations on your teams, but you're failing them. You're failing them because your walk and the talk are two different things. What you talk is not what you do yourself. Your actions don't match what you tell your teams. Okay? Now, for instance, demonstrating a level of professionalism is very important when you're communicating with your teams. Even your physical representation is very important. Okay? Because the teams are impressionable. The teams that is working under you as a leader, they look at you and emulate what you're doing. You role model them. That strategy is handling conflict appropriately. Conflict is inevitable. As long as you're working with multiple people, and that is what a team consists of, it consists of different people with different perspectives and different opinions, different perceptions and attitudes. Once in a while, you're gonna there's going to be conflict between either members, team members. Okay, so conflict is inevitable. All right. But when it is handled with assertiveness, you can be sure to turn that conflict around and turn that challenge into an opportunity and growth. When addressing conflict, it's very important that as a security leader, you handle that conflict directly with the parties that are involved. All right? And take your time to listen actively to both sides. All right? And don't provide a solution until you have listened to the parties. And when we say actively listening, you are listening to what they're saying and you're trying to process everybody's point of view. Then proceed to provide a solution. Now, I saw this strategy working for me a lot in my managerial positions while I was working in different roles in my career. I am still seeing it in effect even now when I'm working with the teams in my company. All right. What I avoid to do is to handle conflict with individuals. I mean, if conflict is within different parties, maybe 2 team members or 3 team members, I avoid listening to individual side of the story independently. I avoid that, okay? Because I want to come out of this as neutral as possible, all right? And unbiased. So what I have always done and what I continue to do is I call all parties and listen to all of them simultaneously, one person at a time. And then I can contextualize what is happening and I can actively listen. And then I can provide the solution. The thing with conflict handling is when you're not careful as a security leader, you may lose sight of the actual problem on the ground because somebody somewhere will give you a different version of the story because the other party is missing in the session, you know? So instead of hearsay, let everybody be present and actively listen to everybody, okay? And then be able to provide a solution after that. Assertive leaders use conflict resolution strategies that seek a win-win outcome, ensuring that all voices are heard and the resolution contributes positively to the team's dynamics and goals. The fourth strategy to help us enhance on assertiveness in team leadership is empowering others. It's very important for us as security leaders to empower our teams because assertiveness is not about our own voice as security leaders. No, it's about the voice of our team members as well, as allowing them to be comfortable to express their opinions and initiatives with us, and us genuinely showing interest that we want to listen to what they're saying and we are willing to implement some of the initiatives that they're proposing. This not only fosters innovation, but it helps to build a sense of ownership and responsibility among the team. By valuing the contributions of your team members, you create an environment where assertiveness is actually seen as a strength rather than a threat. Therefore, if you're a security leader and you've noticed that your team is finding you unapproachable or they fear to express themselves around you, all right, then that is a sign that you need to make some adjustments on your part. You need to empower them and show them that you are open-minded and you're approachable and they can come and have these discussions with you, all right? And sometimes You can even take initiative. Instead of waiting for them to come to you, why don't you go to them? All right? Don't be the leader that day in, day out, you're closed off in your office. You don't want to engage with your team members out there. All right? Be the security leader that every now and then you're getting out there to talk to your teams. All right? Not only when you're having your team meetings and usual security meetings and operational meetings. No, even when you're not having meetings, take a stroll where they're working in their working station. Have brainstorming sessions. I mean, like, pick up on the ideas. That subtly encourages them to be a bit uh, vocal with their opinions and initiatives, okay? But sometimes the teams are afraid of security leaders, especially when the security leaders are unapproachable, okay? So create an environment that ensures that communication is appreciated and empower them to do that, all right? And this is why I'm a big fan of open work stations, all right? I like working in an open station where my desk is here and the next desks are for my teams. Like I can see what they're doing and sometimes even hear what they're saying. All right. I don't want to be locked up in an office working by myself and my team is on the other side. Like you're so blocked off. And that is why we even have disconnects. That is why we even have disconnects. Okay. If you can, I'm encouraging you to embrace that open working station. I mean, if you're already having it, you will agree with me that it has its benefits, okay? Now, because of the sensitivity of security, of course, you're going to have a conference room. You're going to have a seminar room where you're going to have meetings for any sensitive communications, okay? But on your day-to-day, just work near your teams. Don't be so closed off and walk away from them and become so unapproachable, all right? So, like we need as security leaders, we need to really, really assess yourself. Now, I hope that you can now be able to answer the question that I asked you when we were starting off on this video. Are you winning with your team? Now, to answer that question, you'd have to look at the elements of measurement that we looked at, the elements we touched on that would help you be able to measure your team's effectiveness and performance. All right. Then after you look at those elements, now you need to look at the strategies that we have just covered. Are you deploying these strategies when you're dealing with your teams? If you are on track. All right. And if you're not using other strategies, you can adapt the ones that you're missing out on and just optimize on those efficiencies with your teams. The most important thing for us is we want to harness assertiveness. All right. We've already confirmed that we are not going to make much headways when we are managing our teams using the traditional styles of management, where management was with power and authority, where we have that chain of command, going on, and you can still have a chain of command without you having to be so uptight, if I may say so. All right? And you can still enhance assertiveness and adapt a leadership-focused approach when you're dealing with your teams. That way, you have more to gain when you use those sort of approaches. You have more to gain, all right? And remember, the whole purpose why we are having this discussion is because we deliberated on a conversation of how we can enhance on communications within our organizations with the key parties that we find ourselves engaging with in the security department. That is the governance, the teams, the stakeholders. We want to enhance on those communications because what we want to do is we want to increase on our collaborative engagements. We want to increase our collaborations with all those parties. Okay, that's it for this video. I hope to catch you on the next one. And I want to thank you for keeping me company and engaging with me over this discussion. And until next time, goodbye for now.